Hello everyone, welcome to the Scumdogs Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and in today's Cryptid Corner mini episode, I have two out there stories, folks. One involving a possible UFO battle in the sky, folks, and another, a Bigfoot humanoid thing was seen over in another state, folks. Let's read the first article, Toronto Airport UFO Battle, and read exactly what was seen, apparently dogfighting in the sky over Toronto. In the early morning hours of July 4th, 2018, a night shift worker near Toronto Pearson International Airport reported one of the strangest aerial displays imaginable. Multiple luminous objects maneuvering at extreme speed high above the airport corridor. Pearson is Canada's largest and busiest airport, which makes any report of unusual activity over that airspace especially compelling, particularly when the witness described what appeared to be an actual pursuit complete with flashing laser-like exchanges. I had an incredible UFO sighting on July 4th, 2018 in Toronto. I was working the night shift and was on duty until about 7 o'clock a.m. At around 3:15 a.m., about 6 UFOs appeared over Pearson Airport. At first, they looked like satellites because they seemed very high up. Then one started pursuing another. A moment later, 2 more appeared, and the same thing started happening. It looked like a dogfight way up in the sky. They were like balls of light. One looked red, the others looked green, and it seemed like the green ones were chasing the red ones. I could see 5 clearly at one point. So, here we have basically another apparent aerial dogfight done by alien beings, folks. I remember an old account from basically the 12th century in Germany that describes something similar being seen by the people below. Is it possible that there are rival kinds of aliens out there and they will fight each other? Maybe. From the sounds of this article, it does sound like that. Let's read on, though, and find more about this particular story. The best way I can describe it is that they looked like bees in a swarm, circling and converging, moving as if they were trying to catch one another. It completely blew me away. I had seen unusual things before, but this took it to a whole new level. It felt surreal. I kept thinking, this cannot be happening. Give me a break. I was shocked. I could not believe what I was looking at, and I was seeing it all with my naked eye. If I had to estimate their altitude, I would say they were extremely high, possibly at what seemed like low Earth orbit from my perspective. They were definitely above the clouds. The speed at which they were moving was unlike anything I had ever seen. I have flown myself, and these objects were not behaving like any helicopter, quadricopter, or conventional aircraft I know. They were performing maneuvers that were mind-boggling. Which is, well, what I would think an actual UFO, an actual alien spacecraft would be capable of, folks. But let's now get back to the story and finish it off. They were covering a massive portion of the sky from the northwestern horizon down toward the south and moving back and forth in just 5 to 10 seconds. Then it got even stranger. I started seeing little flashes of light and thought, what the heck is that? They were shooting at each other. That is exactly what it looked like. The flashes remind me of lightning inside a cloud where you see the whole cloud light up, except this was not diffuse, it was straight, like a laser beam. From what I could tell, the red ones were not shooting at the green ones, only the green ones appeared to be firing at the red ones. I could hardly believe what I was watching. This went on for roughly 7 to 10 minutes, and I remember thinking, is nobody else seeing this? The next day, I did not hear any radio reports about it. I reported the sighting to MUFON, and they did follow up and ask for more details, but there was so much happening in such a short amount of time that it was difficult to fully describe. It was literally like watching a dogfight in the sky, and I still have trouble believing I witnessed it at all. What actually happened here, folks? Was this actually some sort of, incursion by 2 alien races? Or maybe the same race using different types of, spacecraft? Maybe there are different nations between alien races, folks, like basically what we have here on Earth, and perhaps one nation of alien beings who basically are, as I said, compatriots and of the same race as the other race, incurred the wrath of the others, is all I can say. Either way, folks, something to think on. But let's move on to the next article. Superior, Wisconsin humanoid encounter. 2 witnesses report 8 to 9 foot being under a street light. And wonder if what they saw could possibly be a Bigfoot. From what I can see here, folks, it looks like this being didn't have fur. But that might be just due to the, thumbnail and wonder if maybe it was indeed a Bigfoot. Let's read on. The following account was submitted to me regarding an incident that occurred in Superior, Wisconsin. My cousin and I just finished dinner and had a round of golf. It was June 21st, 2012, and we were driving home on a 2-lane road leading back toward the east side of Superior. The night had been ordinary up to that point, quiet and familiar, the kind of drive you do without thinking. After turning right at a corner that fed back into the main road, we traveled another 100 feet or so. That was when I saw it. On the right side of the road, under a streetlight and near the edge of the woods, there was a figure walking back into the brush. I hit the brakes immediately because I could not make sense of what I was looking at. My cousin was in the passenger seat, and his reaction matched mine. He looked stunned because they were looking at something that looked like it came out of a horror movie or a myth, folks. I can imagine how stunned that both men were, especially because they just finished dinner and having fun and didn't expect to see this entity. But let's get back to the story now. The figure was enormous, around 8 to 9 feet tall. By my estimate, it appeared upright, strongly built, and muscular. The head was what struck me almost as much as the height. It had a tall, rounded, crown-like shape, and the size of the head seemed out of proportion to a normal man. I could see large eyes, though they were not the typical exaggerated alien eyes people usually talk about. The legs looked unusually long. As soon as I stopped, I blurted out, "I think that was an alien." My cousin immediately panicked and yelled, "Go, go, go!" I hit the gas and drove out of there. My eyes were tearing up from the shock of it. I could barely process what I had just seen. My cousin said he thought he was imagining it. I told him no, I had seen it too. This is odd, folks. It says in this article that this being had a large head, basically a large crown-like shape. That basically gives me the idea, basically, of the large conical shapes that Bigfoot are noted to have, folks. We can discuss this point a little more in a moment, but we have to finish off the rest of this article first. Either way, once more, let's continue. We got back to our apartment, still shaken. I called some friends right away. They came and picked me up, and we returned to the area to check the location. When we got there, I pointed out where the figure had gone into the brush. It looked like vegetation had been parted, as if something sizable had moved through there. Because of what we had seen, I contacted local authorities. To this day, what stays with me most is how massive the figure was, and how completely unbothered it seemed. It did not appear startled. It did not run in panic. It simply moved back toward the woods, as if it belonged there, and as if we were the ones intruding in. Which is something we've noted before in other stories, folks, with Bigfoot and other cryptids like Dogman, where these entities, sometimes even unknown entities like maybe pale crawlers, they'll look at humans and say that they're the ones intruding on their terrain, folks. In fact, a recent video in which we had this Panther Man encounter, the witness, a woman and her mother, said that the entity felt like they were intruding on it and not the other way around. So maybe these entities think the world is theirs, or maybe for whatever reason, maybe a thinning of the veil, because in some areas maybe that is possible, folks. A thinning of the veil between our world and theirs allows us and them to interact, at least for a short time. It's all I can think about here, folks. Maybe this entity didn't care because they knew on some level that it didn't matter if these people witnessed him or not, because this entity would return to the world it came from, or it would basically disappear into the woods, not to be seen again by anyone, and it knew deep down it was safe. The witnesses, though, these two cousins, they didn't know that. All they know is they saw this massive being that could possibly be a Bigfoot, because they don't mention it having fur, but it definitely gives you that feeling that this entity is in the same category as a Bigfoot, folks, especially with a conical head, or in their words, a crown-like head. Maybe this was a Bigfoot suffering from some sort of, mange or something, and it had no fur, much like the, photo you see here, folks. Maybe. Either way, fascinating, but we're now at the end, so please go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Read comics that are bad for you. You can use the YouTube link down below in the descriptions or the chat to go subscribe me. Hit that like button for me. Make sure you're still subscribed. Leave some comments down below. Hit that bell for notifications. Make sure you hit the part of the bell that'll give you all future notifications, and please share this video out. I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be back again tomorrow with another great video, so be sure to come back again then. Until next time, folks, I'll see you all again soon.